Hello students, welcome you all on a day number 10 in free bug hunting class. This is a 100-day series where you are going to learn about different type of vulnerabilities. This is initially start from a very basic so that you understand how the bug hunters, pen testers find bugs in any application. Now today is a 10th day of this series. In this, we are going to discuss about a very important concept about vulnerability assessment. I think most of you have heard about what is vulnerability assessment. We generally use some tools to perform the vulnerability assessment, but there are multiple mistakes that an individual generally committed during while performing this vulnerability assessment. So in this video we are going to discuss about what all issues are there, how to identify the vulnerabilities into the application by making use of a vulnerability assessment, what is the right approach of doing a vulnerability assessment, how to verify is it a right bug or not, is it a false positive or not. There are multiple things that we are going to discuss into this video. Okay, this is a right approach through which you can do a vulnerability assessment in an organization, because I'm also working in the industry from the last 16 years as a penetration tester, as a red teamer. So we know that what will be the right approach when you do a testing on a UAT environment, when you do a testing on a production environment. So there will be two different approaches. Okay, so first of all we will understand the logic. Okay, I will just open a paint. Okay, P-A-I-N-T. Okay, so what I will do, I will just open a paint and then we will understand first logic, and then we will go with the practical part and we will understand how to perform all these practicals together. Okay, so the first thing that we need to understand. Okay, let me check if it is properly working. Perfect. So now first thing we need to understand vulnerability assessment. Okay, and one more thing, this will be a live classes now. These after this video we will be conducting a live classes on this same channel only, Hacker Blog English. So if you are new, please subscribe, and in the end of this entire series I will give you a free bug hunting certificate as well. So for that you have to mark your present over here in the chat section. Just type your name and just type present. Also do share this video on your LinkedIn so that we will mark your present by looking your post over there. Understood? So now vulnerability assessment. Now when you are going to do a testing for any application, so under the testing, especially under the testing, I'm talking about security testing. Under testing we have two different phases. One is a vulnerability assessment, that we generally called as a VA, vulnerability assessment. Another one is a penetration testing. So there will be a difference between both the approaches. Vulnerability assessment, when you are trying to find out vulnerability by making use of a automated software. So when we use automated software scanner, whatever you wanted to say, software or scanner to identify bugs. This is generally called as a vulnerability assessment. Vulnerability and assessment. So doing assessment to find out the vulnerability is actually simply called a vulnerability assessment. Now in order to perform this particular task, we use various type of a tools. In industry we have certain type of a tools like Zaproxy. Previously this tool was owned by the OWASP itself. Now these days when you install this Zaproxy, you will see a checkmarks. Checkmarks is a very famous organization who provide tools for source code review as well. So if you do not know about what is source code review, I will let you know about that as well, okay, in our upcoming videos. So Zaproxy is one of them. Then the famous one, which is basically used in both the section, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, that is a Burp Suite. Okay, the another one, these are the two common tools which I personally use while performing a vulnerability assessment and penetration testing on any live website or on a dead dummy website. Okay, then after that we have NetSparker. Now these days we call this software as an Invicti software. Other than this, we have a Oconetics. You just please check the spellings over the internet as well. Okay, Aconetics, and there are multiple other softwares are there. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about Zaproxy. See, the approach of any software remains same. Okay, the feature might be different, the vulnerability counts might be different, but the approach will remain same. So first of all, you need to understand how these vulnerability assessment softwares identify issues on the live app side. The first thing that we need to understand that. Okay, sorry, I'll just clear everything. Now, as you can see, this is a software. It contains a database of all the vulnerability. This is called vulnerability database. This vulnerability database contains payloads. Okay, now this is a software, VS software. Now we have the website. Website can be your https://demo dot. Always use this website. This is a dummy website where you can identify the bugs, and there will be a no risk on you, because when you go and directly test vulnerability on any live website, then there will be legal liabilities on you. Okay, so make sure first take a permission. First check if that organization is having any active bug bounty program or not, if that website allows you to submit the bugs or not. Never find out bugs on those websites which do not have the bug bounty program. It is illegal to find out the issues for those who do not have their own bug bounty program. Okay, or either first take a permission from them, then only take do the bug bounty, or like do the pen testing for their website. If you are directly doing any pen testing or any kind of a testing on their website, it is marked as an illegal activity. So please make sure that when you are going to perform any vulnerability assessment, please take a permission. Now, when you do a vulnerability assessment, when we are doing it in the live app side and in the production, like in the UAT environment, there are different use cases. The first thing you need to make sure that when you are doing a bug hunting, or when you are participating in any bug bounty program, this particular vulnerability assessment is restricted. Okay, you will not allow to do a vulnerability assessment. See, when you do a vulnerability assessment, there are thousands of requests that generates on the server side. Okay, so if every bug hunters, those who are trying to find out a vulnerability, they will use the vulnerability assessment software, so their server will goes down just because of this multiple requests. Even the vulnerability assessment is so simple that the company itself can do it. So that's why there is no there is no point to identify and submit those issues which they can easily identify by doing the vulnerability assessment software. The primary motive is to host any bug bounty program is to identify some serious and critical logic related issues which the organization cannot was not able to identify during their vulnerability assessment and penetration testing phases. That's why they host this bug bounty program to identify critical issues. They have the budget, they can purchase the software, they also have the resources who can find out the issue. The primary purpose is to host bug bounty program to identify critical issues which they are not aware about it. Understood? That's the main requirement. That's why company don't allow you to do a vulnerability assessment, because they have already done this activity. Okay, testfire.net. Understood? So now in the vulnerability assessment software, we need to enter a URL. Here you need to submit a URL, click on go button. After that, it will start scanning. Now how it will start scanning? It will fetch the data from the database. This is a database of a vulnerability. Fetch the data, enter the payload into the URLs, into the body part, and then it will be able to identify the bugs. The first thing that VA will do is the spidering. And before that, it will check the connectivity. Is your software is able to access this website or not? First, it will check the connectivity, then it will do a spidering. Spidering basically helps vulnerability assessment software to identify all the links which is present in the website. Because when we submit a URL, it will be a single page. This one, that is your home page. So the software will only only will be like the software will be able to identify issues only at the home page, but we wanted to scan the entire website. So that's why the software first do the spidering. Now in the spidering process, it basically checks, one second. Yeah. Okay, so in the spidering process, what it will do, it will explore the pages, identify all the links which are present into the page source code, and then list out those links under the tree. Okay, so basically it will create a sitemap on it. Understood? Then after that, once it get all the URLs, then it start putting an attack, putting a payload on each and every URL and identify the issues. Now, by doing the vulnerability assessment, we can identify 50 to 60% issues, which is basically identified by the software in one go. Okay, so let's suppose if you are entering any payload, and in the response you are able to get the data. Okay, you are able to see the response of the attack. Then you can easily identify this type of a vulnerability by making use of a vulnerability assessment software. Let's suppose if you are trying to do a SQL injection, you can identify by using this. HTML injection, you can identify by using this. There are multiple other attacks like header related issues, then cookies related issues. You can easily identify by this. But if on the login page brute force is working or not, you cannot identify such type of issue which include multiple steps. It means more than one step. Wherever you will find a more than one step for the vulnerability like privilege escalation, you cannot identify by using this. There are many other vulnerabilities which you cannot identify by making use of a vulnerability assessment software. It doesn't matter you are using which type of vulnerability assessment software. It can be a Qualys, it can be any software, but the vulnerability assessment software have this limitation. Now these days some agentic AIs are there which basically send a request, generates a payloads, then automatically try to bypass that. There are multiple things which is there in the market, but it is not accessible to everyone. Every organization cannot use or afford that type of a software or solution. Understood? So that's why right now also we are using such kind of a software. Understood? This is how actually it works. So remaining 40% and 30% will be identified by the penetration testing. In penetration testing, we will discuss about in our upcoming videos what is penetration testing, what all things are there, how it is different from vulnerability assessment. So without wasting time, now let's jump into the practical part so that we understand how to do what is the right way of doing the vulnerability assessment. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do, you have to open a browser. Now after opening a browser, just type download zap proxy. Okay, so when you type download zap proxy, you will be able to see here, you can see the first link zapproxy.org. Click on the download. Now in the below you can see there. Now the best part of this zap proxy, it is compatible on any operating system. Might be possible you are using a Windows, like right now I'm using a Windows system, you are using Linux, you are using a Mac OS, and on every platform it is compatible. So that's a beautiful part of this. Okay, one second. Okay, now let's suppose right now I'm using a Windows 64-bit installer. So just click on it, it will start getting downloaded. There is no complex process to download this software. Just click on the download and it start getting downloaded into your system. Once it get installed into your system, you just need to click on the software which get downloaded, next, and you are able to install it. Now how it looks, I will just let you know. Now when you open this zap proxy, as you can see, zap proxy is there. So when I click on the zap proxy, after that, now here you can see zap by zap checkmark. So checkmark is now developing the zap proxy. Previously it was owned by the UAST community only. And also make sure that these type of live classes will be there on this channel. So please subscribe the channel so that you will be able to attend, and live you can ask your questions as well. Hi Kushi, hi Ayush, so that it will be much easier for you to do a live two-way communication. So this channel helps other countries, those who cannot speak Hindi, because we have a main channel which is in a Hindi language, that is Hacker Blog, and this is our new channel that is a Hacker Blog English. It will help you to learn cyber security from our live classes that we are doing. So the first thing that you will see that do you want to persist the Zap proxy session? Now this is a very important one, guys, because this setting is really very much important and helps you to come out from the repeated work. The first thing that it will tell you, yes, I wanted to persist this session with the name based on the current timestamp. So let's suppose today right now is you know 1:36. Okay, so it will, what it will do, it will save this scan with the current timestamp. Now let's suppose if you are doing a penetration testing, or like if you're doing a vulnerability assessment for any organization, so in that situation you should have some folder, because sometime your auditor may ask you that have you done the vulnerability assessment, do you have any saved file or not, can I see that logs or not. There are multiple things, so that's why you should document each and everything. Might be possible during the scanning part, like while doing a vulnerability assessment, the server goes down, so server got crashed, there will be multiple issue with the server. So at least if the file is saved in your system, it will be much easier for you to show this as an evidence. So always choose the second option, this one, where you can select the location, select location TION. One second. Select location as well as type project name. Okay, these two things you will be able to do with this. Now let's suppose if you want any temporary project which you don't want it to save, just you wanted to run the scan and just you wanted to see if the vulnerability is there or not, you don't want to save any scan results, so choose the third one. These are the three options that you have. Okay, so right now I'm going to choose the middle one so that I can I will show you how to save this particular file. Click on start. Okay, now it will ask me where to save this. So let's suppose file name, it's a Zap proxy session. Okay, where I can save this on my drives. Okay, wait a second, I'm having some issue with my proxy tool, don't worry. Okay, it was my software issue, it's not your issue, don't worry about it. This settings you don't need to do it because I've changed my configuration because I was doing the mobile app testing with this, that's why. Okay, now when you see this particular dashboard, you will have two different options. Like last one is a learn more, where you get more tutorial about this, so leave this. Now we have two options, that is a vulnerability scan, or sorry, automated scan, and another one is a manual scan. So the first thing that we have to do is the automated scan. Now in the top you can see multiple tabs are there. Okay, where you have an option, standard mode, protected mode, attack mode. There are multiple modes are there. If you want me to create a dedicated video on these modes, so I will just write down in the comment section, I will do that as well. Here in the below you will see history, searches, alerts, output, everything you will be able to see it over here. Okay, so the first thing that we will do is just click on the automated scan. Now here you can see, just type the URL. So right now my URL is demo.testfire.net. okay, now what it will do when you click, like after pasting the URL, okay, so once you click on a attack button, it will first do the spidering part, then Ajax spider, so for doing the brute force. Now when I click, okay, you need to enter, sorry, I think I made some mistake. It's correct. Wait a second. Just copy this colon // yeah. Okay, so now as you can see, it is getting started. Now in the below, first you can see the spider option is there. Spider basically exploring all the URLs. So once the spider is complete, it is start with the Ajax spider. There is a sitemap. Okay, in Ajax spider, it will open up the browser. It will open each and every links. Try to submit the data as well. Okay, so during while performing the vulnerability assessment, you do not allow to touch your browser or systems just because. One second. Yeah. ठीक. Okay, so as you can see, it will take some time and it will start doing a brute force. It will open each and every URL. Now, this is the right approach of doing the vulnerability assessment because you are also confirmed that each and every link got clicked, every data, whatever it is submitting, you are able to see each and every process. Okay, what it is doing in the background process. Understood? So it will take some time. It is an Ajax browser. Now you have to wait for a few minutes until the scan is get completed. Now once you complete this, after that it will go with the attacking part where whatever URLs it is finding, okay, might be possible that URL contains a search bar, that URL contains a login pages. It will try different payloads on that particular URLs. In search bar, it will try a JavaScript. In login page, it will try to do some SQL injection. Now, if you are not familiar about what is this SQL injection, what is this cross-site scripting, don't worry about it. In our upcoming videos, we have a dedicated class for each and every vulnerability. So don't worry. If you wanted to start your career in cybersecurity, this channel will be the first priority to understand, to build all your logic for the security testing of any web application. If you are a developer, then also this series is very much important because we are going to talk about the flaws that is that you generally leave while developing the application. Might be possible you are implementing this thing to identify the issue, but at the same time, it's during the implementation there is a flaw. Okay, there is a gap between what you think and what you implement. So the vulnerabilities lies over there as well. Okay, so as you can see, so it will take some time. In the background when you go, okay, so Edge Spider is running right now. Now as you can see, we have selected this Firefox. That's why Firefox tab is coming again and again, and it is showing each and every URL, as you can see. Now as you can see, the site is not that much big. The main thing is that it fetch each and every URL. Maybe that website contains around 200 images. Okay, so it will fetch each and every image, as you can see it over here. So that's why the request, the time it takes, it's become very large. It takes a lot of time to conduct this vulnerability assessment. Sometime on some website we generally take around 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, sometime more than that as well. And in some scenarios when we do the vulnerability assessment on live website, sometimes it is possible that the organization, our target organization, have implemented some kind of a honeypots on their subdomain. So what will be our first approach? We have the domain, we identify the subdomains. Okay, that is basically an approach of a bug hunting. Okay, where you identify the subdomains. When we do the VAPT in the organization, at that time the client will give you the scope. You will not you cannot go beyond the scope. You cannot find out vulnerability in other website that belongs to the organization, okay, which is not present in the document. Understood? But when you do a vulnerability assessment, you have to go with a subdomain. Might be possible one subdomain is a honeypot. So when you run this software on the honeypot, it will never end. It will keep on going. Okay, so that's the issue that we generally faces. Now I will tell you some of the industry tips. Okay, because when you do a vulnerability assessment on any live website, so we have to make sure that this type of a VA is not allowed on live website in industry, because the live server already contains client customer information. Now when you do the vulnerability assessment, it will send a lot of raw data into the application. So that is actually mixed with the client data. So in some situation they will see the garbage value into the database, so which is not right. So that's why we always the organization always have a copy of the production environment, that is a UAT, which we generally call as a testing environment. On testing environment, we generally do the vulnerability assessment, and we also inform them that when we are going to do it. Most of the time the vulnerability assessment should be done out of the working hours, so that their actual process cannot get hampered. Okay, so this is how we generally plan for a vulnerability assessment. Once it completes the Ajax spider, then it will go with the attacking part, and it will take some time. During that part, you can see alerts. These are the issues which is identified by the software. Here you can see PII disclosure, absence of anti-CSRF token. These are the all are the vulnerabilities which is getting identified by this software. You can just click any one of this vulnerability. Now these type of vulnerability assessment softwares also provide you lots of false positive. Now what is this false positive? False positive is the software is pointing that this is a vulnerability, but when you actually go and check, it is actually not. Understood? So this is how, that's why the organization never rely on the vulnerability assessment report. You can't share this report with your client, because see, if I'm telling you that, see at the background, in the back, in your back, you can see someone, glass is there. Okay, can you spot that glass in your background? Can you spot that glass in your background? That side, on little bit on the left. Can you please check? Now you get confused. No glasses are there in my background. Why is pointing that? So it gonna take longer time to process I am right or he is right. Understood? So that's why if you are sending a report to the client and it is coming directly from the auditor side, so the client cannot directly ask you a question, or developer cannot ask you that is it a correct vulnerability or not. So there most of the time get usually waste while finding those issues which is actually do not exist into the application, because it's a false positive. So that's why the client never take this type of a VA report. They always ask you for the PT report, especially in web application. For for quarterly, for monthly, if you want to run the scan for your website, for the sake of your understanding, you can do that, but VA is not will not provide you all the vulnerabilities. Around 40 to 50 vulnerabilities still exist in the application. That we generally found by doing the penetration testing. Okay, so when you click on any one of the vulnerability, it will tell you that PII disclosure. So on 4 links, it found this PII disclosure. When you click any one of them, you will be able to get the entire request. This is the request. This is the response of this particular URL, and here you will see the information. The URL, you will be able to see that on which URL this vulnerability exists, what is the risk of it, what is the confidence level. After that, if there will be any parameter, okay, on which this attack was, like it is trying to identify the attack on that parameter, it will identify that parameter over here. Attack will also provide you in the attack section, you will get the payload, what payload it was inserted. So right now there is no payload. Okay, now evidence. Now in the below you will see the description also. When you go down, you can see the description, you can check other information, solution, references. In this way you will be able to identify the issue. Now might be possible that PII disclosure is actually not there into the application. Okay, might be possible out of 4 only 2 are there, or maybe 3 is true positive and 1 is a false positive. So when you click on it, there is an option mark as false positive. When you click on it, it goes down. Understood? So in this way you can easily mark it. So you just go on each and every vulnerability, read about that. Let's suppose anti-CSRF token. Now what is this anti-CSRF token? So here, from here you can read this. There's a description. Okay, so no anti-CSRF token were found in the HTML submission form. So submission form is there, as you can see. We have this form. Okay, in the request, this is the URL of this form, that is a login page, login.jsp. So on login.jsp, in the response it says in the code part, this is a form, as you can see, this HTML form. Now if you are coming into the cyber security, I request you to please learn little bit of coding, because you need to understand what it is saying. Now let's suppose if I'm not able to understand how we write the HTML code, so I'm not able to read this. What is this? So form action do login method post and name login ID login on submit return. So basically this particular form should contain some CSRF token in this particular form. Then only this vulnerability is not there. If this form do not contain any CSRF token, this is a vulnerability. So as you can see in the evidence, also now it is telling you that here it founds. Okay, this is the data where the token is not there. In this code, token is not there. It means the vulnerability exists actually. So now this CSRF token issue does not exist on single form, but one is a feedback form, as you can see, feedback form. Now what is this CSRF token? We will discuss this in our upcoming videos. Right now you need to understand that we use one token to identify the user request. So let's suppose if you submit one request at a time, now if you wanted to repeat the same request again and again, you cannot do it. So brute force type of attack, where the attacker submits same details multiple times or different details by using the same request, cannot be possible. So automated type of attacks can be defended by using this token. Now you can see on feedback form also, here you can see in the response, it also highlight that where it found. So it is much easier for you to directly point out that vulnerability. Understood? So this is how we can identify. I am also the cyber security professional having the experience of 5+. I am here to refresh my concept and basic. Thank you so much, Ayush Goel. Looks good. Okay, so now it will take some time to do all those things. Right now Ajax is running, it takes longer time actually. Okay, attacks should also run. Okay, so this is how basically you do the vulnerability assessment and identify the issue. Once this Ajax spider will complete, after that, now stop crawling. Okay, now once this Ajax spider will complete, it will start attacking. Yeah, now you can see active scan. So basically it is trying to attack the website. Now one second. Now as you can see, it is trying to attack. Now if you wanted to see how many vulnerabilities it is trying to attack on the website, click here. These all are the vulnerabilities it is going to test. Understood? Now here you can see the vulnerability name, path traversal, strength, medium, progress, how much time it takes to complete this scan, how many requests is sent, alerts, if it founds an alert or not, what is the status of it. If you wanted to skip any of the scan, there's an option. When you click on it, automatically it will get skipped. Okay, so from here, like, might be possible sometime some of the vulnerabilities taking longer time, and you think that it is not right vulnerability, so you can skip that vulnerability as well. So in this way it will complete the entire scan. Now as you can see, in active scan 100% is completed. Now you got all the alerts over here. So cross-site scripting DOM base is identified. So there are many other vulnerabilities. Now the last part is to report part. Now you wanted to generate the report of this particular VA scan. Click on generate vulnerability. Here you can specify the title of the report. Then this is a report name, then report directory where it is going to store this particular report. Then after that, generate a report is there. If you wanted to make some changes in the template, what all section you need to add, what all section you need to remove, once you see the report, then you can make changes by again just untick the options so that it will remove that particular data from the report. If you want to filter something, you can also do that. Click on generate report. Okay, now it will take some time and it will generate the report, and you can have this report for your reference, so that when you do the penetration testing, it will help you to identify some of the issues at the early start, or in the starting phase of the pen testing. We first identify this VA issues, then we go with the manual testing part. Now let me check. Here you can see report is there. This is the report. Understood? So in this report you will have all the data. Now you can see high 2, medium 2, risk 2, 2 high risk are there, 6 medium risk are there. So in this way you can identify the issues. See, these are the vulnerabilities. When you click any one of them, it will directly take you to that vulnerability. So this is, if you wanted to get, if you want more information, you can easily, wait a second. Acha, I clicked on it. So if you want more information about that vulnerability, so you can make changes into the report format, template, you can change it. Okay, that all you can do it. So this is how you can conduct a vulnerability assessment. Okay, by making use of it. I hope that this session is very clear to you. If you are able to understand this right way of doing the vulnerability assessment, please hit the like button. And if you have any doubts, please feel free to write down your issues into the comment section, so that I will read it and I will respond it in the comment section, or might be possible in the upcoming videos I will take your questions, so that I will give you the answer as well. Okay, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because this is going to be a 100-day series. And make sure two things: if you want a certificate, then first thing, mark your present over here. If you are seeing the recorded one, I request you please join the live stream, because in the live stream, whenever you mark the present, I will be able to mark your attendance as well. Okay, the second thing, you have to share this video on the LinkedIn, so that we will be able to identify that you have shared it or not. Then only we can mark you present. Okay, so I think that's all for today. We will see in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.